Hello friends, today we are discussing about the version control systems. So we'll be discussing more about Git or GitHub. So basically GitHub is a distributed open source version control system which is used to track and manage changes. This is my profile on GitHub, and earlier we used to use CVS or VSS for configuration version systems. So CVS is like concurrent version systems, and VSS like Visual Source Safe from Microsoft. So basically in here we can create multiple repository. My user ID is vgosign job. So if we click on here, you can see vgosign job, and we can select the different repositories or projects or organizations we are having. So in GitHub we can have enterprise account or like a normal account. And in account there are like two types of repository: private repository and public repository. This one, two repository I am having are like private repository currently, so we cannot publish or view pages in a URL on private repository. We have to make it public or like buy an account from GitHub to make it available on the webs on the internet. So basically it uses DevOps, which is like dev team or operation teams, using the concept of CI/CD, like continuous integration and continuous delivery. So continuous integration is for unit testing, integration testing. For those we use the methodologies of continuous integration, and continuous delivery is basically for using test server or UAT Jenkins servers when we like deliver on those systems, and continuous deployment if we are using any production server or configuration management. In those situations we can use continuous deployment. So if we look at the repository, this vgosign job is like I've created my repository, and this is like a commit graph with the like date, time of different files, folders which are committed earlier. So it's like a history of different commits used in a particular repository, and every commit is having like a unique hash. So that's how we can track the commit history. Or similarly in branching and merging, we can see the development history graph. So basically it uses the like URL https user.github.io/repository. So my user is vgosign job. So if I use any like GitHub repository, it will be like https vgosignjob.github.io/GitHub repository. That is like name of the repository which I am using. And here we go to settings. We can see on we can go to code and automation, and then pages. So if we click on pages, here we can is showing upgrade or make this repository public to enable pages. So here if we make this repository like public, then we we can deploy from master branch or any other branch and save the changes, and after saving the changes it will be deployed to our the URL given by the GitHub. So and if whenever we create a new Git repository, it's automatically created on master branch. So we let's say click it here. We can do the upgrade. So this is like a page for billing information or payment information, where we can use any particular account which you use from GitHub to GitHub Pro. And similarly we are having enterprise cloud or enterprise server also, which will be using, if we are having a team of many people, then we can use enterprise cloud, enterprise server also, or GitHub team with the full features for private repository. And here we can have different branches and we can add branch protection rules, which means that if we are pushing to any branch, then we can set up the various required status checks or like continuous integration checks, which should be passed. Only then we can like push to a particular branch. And GitHub Copilot also we can use in GitHub, which is like an artificial intelligence program which gives suggestions or auto completion features with GitHub. So we can also have like local staging area. It's like GitLoc local repository. And here we can specify the date and fork. So here we can say the fork, or if we say we can open like git GUI here. Here we can create a new repository, existing repository using git GUI, that's the graphical user interface. And at the same time we can use like git bash, like Linux based terminal, which we can use, and for like pulling, pushing like different tasks for GitHub we can do. This is the Google App Engine which I have used earlier. I deployed on GitHub. Similarly, we can have like different GitHub sample projects which we can use to deploy on GitHub. So coming back to here, so when we are using a remote repository, then we like do the push to the code, that is like our code will be like merged to the main branch. But if we are let's say getting the code on our local staging area, then we can use GitHub like pull. Then that will pull the like code into our local repository, where we can do the changes, and after like comparing it with the like latest code, then we can push it into the main branch. And so coming back to this branch protection rules, we can add the like number of reviewers which with the right permissions, or if someone, our team wants to push the code, there should be like some checks passed, and there will be like one designated code owner or like a project manager who will have the authorization to merge the code. So this we can do using a repository administrator. The person which is having like administrator rights, they can do the code push. And before merging, also like we can specify how like what are the rules defined for merging the pull request. So it helps in like protecting our branch and protecting the integrity of our code. And in .git folder also it is also created, and in .git folder is like all the history of Git commits done is stored in there, and all snapshots of any code modification is also shown there. And in permissions we are having, if you go to security, we can define the different security policies for like GitHub projects which we use. And we can create a new project or link a project to existing repository. This we can do here. In issues we are having, if there are like 3 or 4 issues in a team, we can see the issues here, and after committing, after doing the modification, we can commit and report whether it's closed or any modification done on it. And so this is the like code. And in settings, if we go on code spaces, it's like a cloud environment, local environment for it's like a shared development environment hosted in cloud, where we can do the code changes and for any repository. And so these keys, secrets, variables, code security, these we can set up if we want to make sure that our code is not accessible to everybody, or there are certain rights, certain permissions which we grant for our code analysis and security. And there we can use like creating to, if we want to create a new repository and define whether the new repository will be public or private, or do we add git ignore or anything else in it. Here we can add if there is like a new organization project which we are using. Uh, so these are like different sponsors or which we use for our like projects. Uh, yeah, and so if there's like we are having a team of many peoples, then we can easily manage like who will be like people who are have authorization to code pull, or who will be doing the code pushing, and who like project manager or any specific person have authority to do the code merge. So if there is like any issues in codes, then the like designated code owner or project manager, he can report the problems, and these like reviewer, we can specify whether it will be like code should be reviewed by 5 people, 3 people, any specific rules on the code. And once those like code is reviewed by that number of reviewers, and also verified by the like project manager, then we can proceed further for uh, pushing the code. And we can have like collaborators as well as the repository owner. These are the different permissions which we can have. So repository owner is like a one can do all the code changes as well as code commit. And in collaborator, we can give right to collaborator in GitHub to perform like write operations and to perform push. So these are different. And in insights, we can have the insights of what dependency we are having in our projects and repository, and what is the traffic, how much is the traffic for our projects, and uh, the different forks which are used in our project. So these are different features which we can use when we are managing our code in GitHub. So please let me know about any questions or reviews. I'm looking for new projects or new work in version controls and code configurations. So I can be contacted on my mail ID vigosignjob@gmail.com for any comments, suggestions. Thank you very much.